Wolf?
Oh, here we go. This is how we know who watched what.
Did you watch the movie?
Well, see, this is how we know who watched what dub.
Yeah, I watched the sub.
Oh.
Wow.
It's Lupin in the sub.
I wonder why they changed it to Wolf.
Lupin is like a Sherlock Holmes character.
Right.
Or not from Sherlock Holmes, but it's its own property.
It's that style. It's like an old French series, and Lupin the Third is supposed to be like the grandson of this other like famous IP.
When it came over to the West, they were like, I don't know if we can get away with this. And so they just called him Wolf.
Careful, Wolf. Nah, don't worry about me, Princess. I got everything under control.
We watched Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro. How the fuck do you say it?
Crushed it.
Cagliostro, that's it.
Cagliostro.
Yeah.
Jade didn't watch it in English. He doesn't know how they pronounce it.
I know. I just can't say words for.
How do they say it in Japanese? Cagliostro.
Yeah,
It's different every time.
I didn't know Doro to it.
Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro.
Martin, you picked this movie. Why did you pick it?
Why did you pick this fucking movie?
I said that kind of aggressively. I actually loved it.
Did.
But
we'll see. I picked it. It's been on my list for a while. The biggest significance of why I've wanted to see it was that it's Miyazaki's first directorial debut in terms of a feature film. Like, Lupin was a show before this film. There was like 2 series, Lupin Part 1, Lupin Part 2, or whatever. Both went on for a couple hundred episodes. And only in Part 2 does he become kind of like involved in Lupin. There's a whole history behind this that I was learning like after I watched it. Because I was curious like how this came to be. But Lupin originally, in terms of the manga, was very raunchy. And Lupin was different than he is kind of right now as we know him.
Playboy, just like me. Now, how about a smooch, huh?
When Miyazaki and 2 other directors came in, they made Lupin a lot more gentle and more like gentlemanly and changed some things. But those 2 versions still existed. So 2 films kind of popped up around this time, the release of this movie. And one was like very raunchy and more to the original material, and one was this. Long way to say that, yeah, as Miyazaki's like origin story essentially, and I don't know, through watching it, I feel like we definitely see all these thematic things that he held on to for the rest of his career, and that's why I wanted to check it out.
Of course, even if Miyazaki is working under a different franchise, it's still a Miyazaki movie. His same motifs and everything are in it, which was just funny to see. You know, Martin, you want to start us off?
Why would Martin do it?
I don't know.
He just explained why he chose it.
Okay, listen. We have not recorded in a while. I'm a little rusty. All right. After pulling off a casino heist, Lupin the Third and his partner in crime, Jigen, who's this guy with this cool hat, drive off what turns out to be a huge amount of counterfeit money. They tracing it back to a small country. Let me try this again. Cagliostro. Am I right? Cagliostro. All right, perfect.
Switzerland.
It almost looks like a European fairy tale. There's like castles and nice forestry, and it's really pretty. The movie starts off with a young girl by the name of Clarice being chased by some bad dudes in a car. Lupin and Jigen are driving alongside and kind of see this whole thing going on, and they're like, okay, we're going to intervene. And they outmaneuver the bad dudes, save the girl, but only temporarily. She ends up getting taken back and captured and taken to a castle that's owned by the Count. Pretty much this white evil dude. He's like the exact same villain as in Castle in the Sky.
But he's also the monarch of the country. He's the heir. His last name is Cagliostro.
Who we chasing? There she is! The girl. Jigen, I picked out our next job.
Lupin kind of stumbles upon this conspiracy involving the corrupt Count, and he decides that he wants to get involved and save the girl, who turns out to be a princess, and also expose the crimes of the Count, which is kind of strange because the Count is doing counterfeit, but Lupin's a thief and he wants to like expose the crimes of like another. I don't know. I thought that was weird, but
yeah, well, he's pissed off that he robbed a government casino and all the money was counterfeit, and so he wants to get revenge for that. And also, he has this special connection with the princess. Maybe they knew each other in a past life. Mm-hmm. He wants to protect her from the arranged marriage with the count, because the count wants to marry the princess for political reasons.
And they ended up being from the same family, right? Like, they're just two branches of the same family.
Yeah, they were going to marry for the sake of consolidating power, or he wanted to marry her so that he could rule over the country.
Yes. They have the same last name before they get married.
Oh, that'd be weird if they're siblings.
Ugh. And they're not siblings.
That'd be so Japanese.
But after I picked up on that, I was trying to pay attention. They both have blue eyes and orange hair.
Yeah.
It's kind of like freaking me out the whole time. Just like, this is so ick. It's like her uncle.
Well, we don't really ever know much about her backstory or her family. She's just kind of like the trophy in the movie.
Yeah. It's funny, like, when the movie ended, I had like ups and downs through watching it. Like, ultimately, I like it quite a bit. But every time I think the romance and her, and she was on screen, and it showed its age every time they had Lupin and her, the others interacting. I don't know. Every time it was Lupin doing cool things, I was like, this is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, we never really know her age, and we never really know Lupin's age. But we get
find
weird...
out what age she was when they first met,
which was not the right age.
Yeah. No,
well, and it was 10 years prior, so she's 19.
It was
right. Yeah, she's legal now, but
yeah. That flashback was so funny because he's like,
oh my God,
10 years ago, and he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he's wearing the same thing too.
And she looks like a child.
He says like, a 9-year. I guess this 9-year-old was immune to my charms or something like that. It's a creepy little line in there.
In that flashback, Lupin tries to steal stuff from the castle in his past, and he gets injured, washed up ashore, and she comes by and helps him and shows him some kindness, and that's their little backstory. And that's why he's in love with a woman that's potentially not of age.
Yeah, but it's funny because they do kind of like tiptoe the line of it, because the ending of the film, Lupin does seem respectful in terms of what they are and like maybe their age.
Yeah.
Because he gives her like a forehead kiss and is like, all right, bye-bye. I'm going to pursue the hot spy girl.
Right.
Well, good move on Lupin's part. I would have made the same choice. But I think...
Okay,
Hey.
How old was your girlfriend 10 years ago, Jade?
No. We're not talking about that.
Let's do the math on that one.
No. We don't need to
Kind of set yourself up.
He does say, I love you like a little sister.
Does he actually?
At the end, when she says something, I won't reveal yet, and he's like, oh, I love you like a little sister, bye.
That's tasteful. Martin, you brought up a good point. I was reading a little bit about the manga. It's kind of interesting because the manga sounded, a lot more like kind of raunchy. Lupin is more scandalous as a character and more ruthless and criminal. So it's cool to see Miyazaki's touch on this and kind of play with a character that wouldn't normally be like a Miyazaki type character and make it into a Miyazaki character. And I think we see that in those moments where he doesn't kiss the potentially underage girl. He gives her a kiss on the forehead and then drives off into the sunset afterwards. So
apparently this Miyazaki intended this to take place at like the end of the Lupin timelines. This would have been like him, Lupin's kind of last big adventure where he maybe changes his ways a little bit.
How presumptuous of Miyazaki to be like, yep, I'm going to make the final Lupin movie. That's me.
Yeah.
It's like a 50-year-old franchise.
It's insane because the series did not have a great start in terms of like gaining popularity, especially in the part 1 series. Like, it did not do well, and I think no network really wanted to do it, so they were kind of like selling it to whatever spot for a few pennies and dollars here and there. But only because of that, and because of the fact that part one was more raunchy, people were drawn to it and these characters. And then eventually, just through sheer runtime of this long series, I think people were drawn in to this world and these characters because they're all great, especially this movie. Lupin and what's his buddy's name?
Jigen?
Lupin and Jigen. I wish the whole movie was just them two. That first 20 minutes was so solid, and that car chase scene and everything, them together was a masterclass.
The relationship was really interesting. They each had their own personalities and brought a lot to the table with it.
Yeah.
You could see the history between them without the explanation.
There! We gotta get around them somehow!
Here goes!
We have Lupin, who's the charismatic, charming thief, kind of slapstick and funny. We have Jigen, who's the more cool, mysterious character who always wears a hat. We have Goemon, who's the noble, stoic samurai.
When he showed up, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of it's unexplained exactly where Lupin and his gang get their resources. He's got lots of gadgets, but also he has a team of people that he can contact and assemble.
Yeah, he has a squad.
Yeah, I called up Goemon. He's gonna help us out.
Yeah,
and we just see this Ronin figure standing in the middle of Switzerland. It's how did he get? Did he walk from Japan? We don't. Obviously, there's no cell phones. It's really unclear exactly how some of the networking goes on.
The last person in their squad is who's the spy girl, the hot spy girl that we were talking about.
Fujiko.
Yeah. She wears a camo onesie. I love that.
She felt American coded to me.
I love those memes that are be the American the anime wants you to be. It's just the most outrageous buzz cut, blonde, wearing camo, muscular, super loud, smoking a cigar, American Eagle behind them.
At one point, there is a Japanese, there's a Japanese ambassador or something at the UN, and we get to hear an Italian accent. We get to hear all these accents, and I was really hoping for a ripping Japanese accent in the English dub, and they didn't go for it. But I thought this would have been the opportunity.
No, there was. Wait, did you watch the old dub or the new one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think in the one that I watched, there's the streamlined dub, which came out in the 90s, and then there's another dub that came out 2012. Maybe? It's called the manga dub. But in that, they did have a Japanese accent. And I was like, that's crazy because they're Japanese. So it was funny.
Quick note about the style. It's fun to see Miyazaki kind of in a world that's not quite Miyazaki land. You feel the Miyazaki world in the space or the planes and some of the technologies, and the castles are very unrealistic and kind of defy gravity and such. But the rest of the world kind of felt like a Hanna-Barbera or Barbera cartoon. I kind of felt like I was in Scooby-Doo. Yeah, along with the 70s jazz soundtrack. It was fun to see him. I think this has got to be the only movie he ever did without Joe Hisaishi, right? Fun to see him just inhabiting this kind of other world. Yeah.
In Miyazaki movies, there's a level of realism. Obviously, they're magical and fantastical, but in this movie, I love the part where Lupin is breaking into the castle and he's swimming up a waterfall.
I was cracking up at that.
30 seconds of him struggling to swim up this waterfall. It's so cartoony, but a pitfall opens and then one of the characters is swimming in the air, trying to defy gravity.
Yeah, the physics are very much like Hanna-Barbera physics. People fall from really tall places. People can catch themselves really easily with knives stabbing into stone. People are swimming upstream of waterfalls. It's really, really goofy. Just a bit about the plot. Most of the movie is kind of structured as a heist movie of rescuing the princess from this big bad castle. But one of the things I was reminded of while watching it is that John Lasseter.
John Lasseter? Yeah.
Yeah, the Pixar dude. I know he's a huge Miyazaki fan. This movie reminded me a lot of his first, I don't know if it's his first, but one of his first live action movies when John Lasseter did Mission Impossible. And in Mission Impossible, a big part of it's the one in Dubai, whichever one that one is.
I had no idea he directed a live action movie. Or
Yeah.
let alone Mission Impossible.
It's a weird combo, but watching it makes total sense because this movie kind of feels like a Mission Impossible movie. There's gadgets, there's set pieces, and in the John Lasseter Mission Impossible movie, there's a part where they have to go retrieve some device in a server room, but the server room's underwater, and there's a sequence of Tom Cruise getting funneled through these different like water shafts and having to hold his breath during the entire time. And that's also the Mission Impossible that opens with him dangling from the bottom of an airplane, which happens later in this movie as well.
Wow. It's incredible the amount of influence that anime has on Austin's favorite medium of film. I just want to point that out again.
What's your point?
I'm just saying.
Austin likes film.
know who to respect, okay? Did you guys feel like this movie was like Castle in the Sky's little cousin?
100%. Because I only watched Castle in the Sky a month ago. And just a side note, that movie is like one of my favorite Ghibli movies.
It's amazing.
One of my favorite movies ever. Like, I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't revisited it since I was a kid.
Yeah, you definitely should. My whole Letterboxd review was structured on the fact that I don't understand why people like Spirited Away so much and why they should like Castle in the Sky as much as
So you just wanted
everyone.
to piss off the internet?
I did. Spirited Away is a fine movie. It's a good movie.
Dog shit. Dog shit film.
But Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky. He's got a bunch. He's a castle boy. Our
He is,
Miyazaki.
yeah.
This guy. This is a castle movie. Castle in the Sky. Howl's Moving Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Hell yeah.
castles
The
and
best.
vehicles.
Yeah.
He's a vehicle nerd. He loves little airplanes and little gadgets.
I feel like that's one of his funnier movies. In the same way that this movie is funny, kind of like slapstick, over the top, there really are just so many parallels between this movie and Castle in the Sky. Even some of the characters, like the bad guys, look exactly like the bad guys in Castle in the Sky, with like the black bolo hats and the dark sunglasses and the suits, and then the main villain guy with the red suit and the blonde hair.
Wait, I'll bring your dear thief back to you, flayed and quartered.
How about the minions? Encounter them early on when they're first sneaking into the castle. They're like almost non-human ghouls.
So fucking unnerving.
So freaky.
Yeah.
They never take their masks off or anything.
It's
but
so
they're always
good.
like hunched over and
Yeah.
moving around as like a kind of like
Yeah.
hive mind thing. Missing in this movie is any of Miyazaki's environmentalism. I was surprised that never came up. That's like a theme in almost all of his stuff. Just the destruction of the planet or anything to do with any environmentalism, you know.
Yeah.
There's also not really a lot of feminism. We talked about that earlier with the female characters. She doesn't have much agency at all. Granted, he's working with somebody else's material, but still.
Yeah.
I feel like he tried to put it in where he could.
There is some of his young Marxism, though, because famously he kind of left Marxism later after working on the Nausicaa film because he got a little bit disillusioned with it. Mostly because it was mostly on philosophical grounds that he wasn't convinced that he said something about like the fetishization of like workerism, but this would have been before that disillusionment. And I just wanted to pull up a quick article. This is written by Owen Hatherley in Jacobin magazine. The roots of the most successful animation studio of the last few decades lie in the trade union of Toei Doge, the animation department of one of Japan's largest film corporations. In the mid-1960s, working conditions in the industry were brutal, with teams of animators churning out hundreds of drawings daily for TV cartoons like Astro Boy. Deadlines were tight and quality was irrelevant. At least one animator actually died on the job. Two of the Toei union's most prominent shop stewards were the young animators Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata. A photograph exists of a young Miyazaki, megaphone in hand, leading a strike. 20 years later, Miyazaki and Takahata would form their own studio together, Studio Ghibli. Ghibli's politics at the same time have never been a secret. In 1995, Pat Labor and Ghost in the Shell director Mamoru Oshii, whose background was in the libertarian New Left, described Takahata as a Stalinist, Miyazaki as a bit of a Trotskyist, and the Ghibli studio as the Kremlin. The Toei Union, like many unions in the 60s, was substantially controlled by the Japanese Communist Party. And though Miyazaki has stated that he was not a dues-paying member, there's no doubt that he and Takahata were fellow travelers. And I'll just skip ahead. Later in the article, it goes, Takahata remained a Marxist until his death in 2018, whereas Miyazaki lost his faith in the 1990s while completing the manga version of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. In Miyazaki's words, he experienced what some people might regard as a political sellout. That is, he decided that Marxism was a mistake. He stressed that it had nothing to do with any political or personal events, but was more of a philosophical rejection of a workerist romanticism. Quote, the masses are capable of doing infinite number of stupid things, unquote. With a rejection of Marxist materialism and ethos of material progress, Miyazaki himself summed up all of his political journey as having reverted to being a true simpleton. Perhaps co-owning a hugely successful Disney-backed corporation might have had something to do with it. But I think in this movie, he was a shop steward of his own union, and he would have been steeped in a lot of that like 60s, 70s Japanese communist radicalism. And in this movie, we find out later that the big bad guy is not just for creating counterfeit money, but he's manipulating the global economy.
Yeah.
With that counterfeit money, with the fake money. And basically has the world governments in his pockets. Also, his castle itself is portrayed as like a mechanistic giant clock, which I thought was pretty cool. There's a sequence where when Lupin is, he gets trapped in the mechanism, and there's a fun little nod to Charlie Chaplin's Hard Times.
Hard Times, yeah.
Yeah. Where Charlie Chaplin gets like, he's trying to get a job so they can impress this girl. And so he works at the factory. He gets stuck in the factory and his body gets like woven through all the gears. And there's a direct nod to that here. And that movie, of course, was also Chaplin's critique of capitalism.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
wait, so was that article saying that Miyazaki's a sellout?
Well, Miyazaki himself was saying, you know, some people might call me a sellout. Yeah.
It is unfortunate because, like, they talk about the working conditions of during that they were brought up in, that they were fighting against, and then through the documentaries I've watched of Miyazaki, and I'm reading his like memoir now, it's like, you're directly responsible for completely ruining people's lives who have worked under you, like.
The guy that spent like a year and a half working on that 15-second sequence and what's that movie?
The Wind Rises. Yeah,
The Wind Rises. Yeah, there's a great interview clip with him. He's like, "It's good, it's good," and the guy just looks exhausted.
The poor guy, in very typical Japanese fashion, goes like, haha, but it's so short though.
Yeah.
Sorry. Luckily Miyazaki's like, well, you're right. Keep working. No, but it's funny that his like politics are so ever changing around those times. In terms of like the memoir that I'm reading, it's a collection of essays that are from the 80s to the early 90s. And so it's right in that transformative period. And there's a lecture I think he gives, or maybe like just a letter that he had written, talking about one of his favorite background workers who like checks backgrounds, and she made herself sick and hospitalized. And he doesn't really give a firm stance of like, I didn't like that. It was kind of like she wanted to do it, and that's the only thing she knew how to do. And I'm forever grateful. I only come to her because of that.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard because like I idolize him in a lot of ways that I know are toxic and bad. But I'm like, damn, this guy is so devoted that he he kills people, and he makes his son hate him, and
Can't retire.
yeah. He can't retire.
Didn't he walk out of his son's movie? Is that true, or is
Yeah.
that just a rumor?
To be fair, that movie sucks ass.
That
I
movie
would
did
walk
suck.
out.
Yeah, I would have walked out
Which
too.
one is that the
Tales
Witches?
of
Tales
Earthsea.
of Earthsea. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Bummer.
that's pretty
Oh, man.
brutal.
It's interesting that his business partner Takahata didn't have that ideological trajectory. I'd be curious to watch some more of his movies. I think I've only seen Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah. Me too. I wanted to see. I think he did Only Yesterday.
The Jackman article mentions that movie Only Yesterday. They say Ghibli's most dialectical film and its most subtly Marxian is Takahata's Only Yesterday from 1991. In it, Taiko, a woman approaching 30 who is dissatisfied with her life in Tokyo, travels to a village to help with the harvest. A young farm laborer drives her around the landscape with its rivers, fields, marshes, and forests, all lovingly animated in lush, meticulous detail. She gazes at it in awe, expressing her admiration for nature. A Disney film would leave it there, but not Ghibli. The farmer, smiling but with some scorn, insists that everything she can see is the result of human labor. Seemingly paraphrasing the South Wales Marxist Raymond Williams' The Country and the City, he tells her that city people see the trees and the rivers and are grateful for nature. But every bit has its history, not just the fields and rice paddies. Someone's great-great-grandpa planted it or cleared it. But that does make me think of, like, there is always a attention to portraying people's labor as beautiful in later Miyazaki movies. Not so much this one, but we always see people doing the laundry or doing the cooking, not just eating the food and putting on the clothes.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true. Yeah.
It's kind of thought-provoking because, like, when you yourself are doing the labor, you don't necessarily see the beauty in it, like that character that was disenchanted with her own life. But seeing someone else's product, it's easy to see. So maybe she was missing the beauty in her own life.
I spent a lot of labor sanding and staining a deck, and I was very satisfied at the end of it. I clapped my hands and was done with it, and I was like, I did that.
Yeah.
Not all the art you spend all your time doing. Like, take this deck.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like as a real as a real weeb. Japanese weeb. That's an oxymoron.
It's a real Japanese person.
If you watch enough anime, that's how it works.
My
That's
name's
how it
Martin
works.
Andreev, and I'm
I'm
Japanese.
Japanese. It's like something I've always admired about the stereotypical culture thing, but it's like the Japanese craftsman of doing the same thing over and putting meticulous care into the smallest of things is something like I've always appreciated, and I feel like that is what Miyazaki shows in his films with that. Maybe that's how I've taken it, at least.
Martin dreams of storyboards.
I do. Yeah, that's the film. Yeah.
The sequel to Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Well, on the subject of thieves, I got robbed in Colombia.
By Lupin.
I wish that would have been so much more chill. No, this was like straight Colombian criminals.
How bad? What was? Did you get like mugged or like just without knowing robbed?
I got
Really?
mugged. There was a gun pointed at my dome. So my brothers and I went and played some pool. We were just having a good time drinking. It's like 1:30 in the morning. We're walking back. It's literally a block from our hotel. And there's like this kind of dark underpass. And I look at it. I'm like, I don't know. And I tell Charlie that, my brother, and Bo is just like forging on ahead. So we follow him. And then we see 5 dudes pop out and we're like, oh, cool. One of them has a gun. 3 of them have knives. Yeah, the guy's pointing a gun at my head, jumping around. He's holding it gangster style, which is unnecessary. Like, I get the message without the gun being
You didn't
tilted.
tell me that detail.
I don't think he spoke English, so he was like grunting. He was trying to be scary, like holding the gun like up in my face, like right up in my face. I'm like, okay, you take whatever the fuck you want. They were pretty strategic about it, you know. They pulled off a heist. We were the heist. Came and patted us down, took my phone, took my money. It was only like $20 in US, whatever that is in pesos. Took my younger brother's phone, and then took my other brother's wallet. So, yeah, you know,
And then a trap door opens underneath you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I pulled out a grappling hook that I shot at the thief and tripped him with it.
I was going to say, what happened to all those nunchuck skills that you worked on for so long? Like, what was the point if you're not going to bring it with you?
When you have a gun right at your face, that all kind of goes out the window. I guess that's part of becoming an adult, too. You realize that you can't defeat bullets with kung fu moves.
You just haven't trained enough, Jade.
You obviously haven't trained in the art of gun kata.
Yeah, gun kata.
How close was he? Was he within like CQC reach? You could have
yeah.
flipped the gun at him.
I guess I could have. It's just there's 3 other dudes with knives too, and my brothers were like under threat too.
Jesus.
So
yeah,
Maybe
no,
if
it's crazy. But we tried to track down the phone. We tried to counter heist them. Me and my brothers were using Find My Phone, and we were watching our phones live being carried away from us like on my iPad. It was very upsetting, and we were trying to communicate with the cops and be like, hey, can we go get our phones? And they were super blasé. I understand, like, you know, foreigners losing their phones, they don't give a shit. Like, worse shit happens in Colombia all the time. But the next day, as we triangulated where our phones were in the shop, that's the racket. They steal the phones, they erase them, and then they sell them again. We went to a park, found 2 cops, got one of them to come with us, and he was pretty much like, okay, these foreigners are now going to search your shop. So we just like broke into their shop and searched through hundreds of phones trying to find ours. But we couldn't find it.
Wait, but you located it to that shop, roughly.
We think so, but there's like 5 other phone shops in that area, and there's like a back room. There's like hundreds of cupboards. We were there for like 30 minutes trying to find our phone.
Yeah, I feel like if you were like getting cell phones that you knew were stolen, you wouldn't put them out on display for like a month or so, right?
Yeah. They have a system. I think they know what they're doing because they turned off the phone, they cut off the Wi-Fi to it and everything. Like, you know.
Well, speaking of how thievery is cool and heroic, just to get us back to the movie, the castle dude count, he figures out, oh shit, it's Lupin, it's Wolf. He's trying to stop the wedding from happening. And he enlists, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Interpol, Japanese Interpol.
Yeah, Japanese Interpol.
International Police.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fancy name.
They show up in, Born Identity movies and stuff like that. And it's also a guy who's very familiar with Lupin, and they're kind of rivals. I got the impression that this guy's chasing after Lupin in the mangas and in the other films.
He's like the generic gruff detective dude.
They had a cute relationship.
They do. Enemies to friends
Yes.
is definitely the dynamic there. Eventually, Lupin does get up to the top of the castle and finds the princess, and they have a sweet little moment before getting thwarted by the bad guys.
No, let me go! Whoa!
Look, I'm the one the Count wants. Now leave her alone.
Don't worry, my gallant trespasser. I assure you, the princess will not be harmed.
The sequence right before that where he jumps to the castle, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
good bit of slapstick there.
yeah, and the release of like tension as well, of like him finagling with this little firework thing, and then
he tries
into a full sprint.
He tries to set up this whole clever way of getting himself to this castle tower that's isolated by trying to shoot a rocket with a string attached to it. He drops the rocket, slips trying to retrieve the rocket, ends up running down the roof, and he starts running so fast, like in Spirited Away when Chihiro's running down the staircase, that he can't stop his momentum. Mario jumps across different platforms and ends up
so
like landing on the tower he was trying to get to.
And again, similar to how I felt watching Castle in the Sky when Sheeta, when he's like jumping from block to block at the end of Castle in the Sky, when it's like all falling apart. That sequence makes my heart sink out of fear of him falling, unlike any other film is able to do. And I felt that here as well in Lupin. Something about how they don't cut away from him struggling to climb up as he's slowly slipping. really does put you on the edge of your seat.
And in this movie, there's this constant tension because there's always this anxiety of falling or gravity because of the setting that it takes place in. And I think that fits really well with the excitement of Lupin. Like, Lupin is kind of an exciting series, jazzy, fun, always moving. I thought that the settings were really beautiful in this movie. And it makes sense for a Miyazaki movie. We've talked about this in other shows where oftentimes they just focus on the characters and not the actual setting, realizing how important it is to have like a world that the characters interact with that's alive, really well thought out. You can like imagine being there. It's not just human to human or character to character interaction. It's this fuller interaction of the characters physically interacting with the environment. And I feel like a lot of anime, at least today, doesn't have that.
Yeah.
That's part of why this movie's so exciting, is because even though it's cartoony at some points, the characters really physically interact with the world and you really get a sense of the environment.
I remember thinking that too. And I'm glad that we've been doing the podcast because I actually noticed this stuff now. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it.
Hey, what about me? Thank me for something.
I will. But Austin's been very good about pointing out the fact that, like, especially in more modern anime, there's a lot of times where nothing's moving except the mouth. Mm-hmm. So I've started noticing that. I just picked up another anime and I couldn't help but notice it. It was killing me. And then watching this one right after, it was like, oh, okay, there is stuff going on in the background. There's stuff going on that isn't just driving the plot. Jigen, there's a point where they're swimming and he just randomly falls underwater and then he comes back and they keep going and nothing ever happens with that, but it just makes it more relatable and like anything could happen, you know?
Yeah.
Like they could make a mistake at any moment. It's just more interesting.
And the castle is so fun too because it's like a video game level or something. There's all these trap doors and weird mechanics and hidden things. There's like a dungeon underneath the castle where there's 400 years of dead people in there that have been killed via trap door or whatever. Watching this crazy zany character Lupin like jump through this environment and like grappling hook his way across and climb is pretty fun.
I had to look it up. I did some fake news earlier when I said that John Lasseter directed the Mission Impossible movie. It was directed by Brad Bird, who directed the what's the Impossibles or Invincible?
No.
What? No, the other.
Why are we so Incredibles?
The Incredibles, yeah. He worked at Pixar, and then he made the Mission Impossible movie. But another one I just thought of, when he's scaling the castle to get up the thing. Also in that movie, Tom Cruise scales the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. I don't know. I'm thinking there's
a lot of parallels. A lot of parallels.
I did see like as well, like in a later Mission Impossible, they drive around like the classic Fiat that Lupin and the gang drives, and that Fiat is indistinguishable from Lupin. Like that is Lupin. That is the logo of Lupin the Third.
I'm Googling it, and nobody else has made this connection. I think we're breaking ground here.
We gotta tell Miyazaki or someone to sue someone.
There's also apparently speculation that Raiders of the Lost Ark was even inspired by this movie.
Oh.
I saw that on the Wikipedia page.
I did see that.
That's crazy.
That Spielberg had confirmed that he had seen it. Which, yeah.
What's that?
What's Raiders of the Lost Ark? What in the hell?
Is there a pre, like a blah blah blah, and then it's this? You know what I mean? Like
she's not gonna know what that is. She's
not
gonna know what that is. She should, but she won't.
At theme parks,
it's not Coldplay. Who's a man who's rugged and handsome, wears a leather hat, and wields a whip?
I got nothing. I don't think very many anime characters have whips.
It starts with an I and ends with a Jones.
It's not even worth
Islands
it.
of a Jones.
It's crazy that you got Jones in there, though. Island of the Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Island of the Jones was so confident too.
Wait, Darian, have you seen Indiana Jones?
No.
That's so crazy.
That's a real people movie, Jade.
What did you do for childhood?
What do you mean? I watched Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's stop making fun of Darian.
Yeah, stop it.
All right.
Don't bully me.
We have enough movie experts on here. It's good that we have like a anime enthusiast that is like dedicated to the genre.
It does make sense that a lot of movies are inspired by anime because a lot of the visuals in anime are so strong that it makes sense that a lot of directors would take from it. We were talking about Paprika and like the Inception comparison of like the scene where it's twisting down the hallway and you see the characters falling as it moves in the dream sequence.
On top of being influenced, artists want to steal in terms of like a good steal, not a bad steal, and take inspiration from. And I thought about that from the perspective of living in pre-internet days and watching obscure films from the other side of the planet, and like that's how you get your original content, and that's how you try to make original stories of seeing what they're doing over there in Japan. And so I've wondered if that's the case of like going out of your way to see something obscure to then try to influence your own work.
Especially back in the day when there was no home video market. Like you would see this movie in a festival and then there must just be images that just would have stuck with you, that you would have maybe written down or taken notes and then maybe get to incorporate it in a future thing. But there isn't the same kind of like, oh, let me just go screenshot a clip from a movie or find the clip on YouTube or something like that. It reminds me of, I heard this interview with this guy that's, I guess, written a book on The Simpsons. And he's talking about how like nowadays we take for granted all the like crazy film references in early Simpsons. But like back then, like they would be like, oh, Bart is gonna like reach his hands up to the cupcakes like Alex does in A Clockwork Orange. But like that movie hadn't gotten a home release yet with that uncensored, there's all this crazy stuff. So they would have to go and hunt down like archival prints of movies just to do a gag on The Simpsons because they want to reference some movie in the episode. It's like, what a challenge.
Who's there?
A thief, and with your permission, I've come to help.
If they find you here, they'll kill you.
He scales the tower and he gets to the top and he gets the girl and we see them together for the first time, and you weren't charmed by his like weird, I'm gonna punch you. Oh, boom. Actually, I'm gonna do a magic trick. Here's a rose.
What was that? Yeah. You're not letting me save you. I'm so frustrated. And I'm gonna sing a little bit, maybe.
Presto! Faith can work miracles.
I really thought he was going to say pound it. That's what I expected the whole time.
Yeah, me too.
That was wrong.
I groomed you when you were little.
That really is what this story is about.
So then he gets cast into the dungeon after he gets found out. And
Him falling down into the dungeon, so fucking cool. If there's any way I want to fall into a dungeon, it's with my hands in my pockets. With like a slight smirk. It's so good.
Oh, well, this game is finished.
Lupin gets injured in his first attempt to rescue the princess. He recovers by eating an absurd amount of food. That's his healing process, which is awesome.
Which again became very tropey in anime. That is such an anime trope from every shonen character. Like Luffy only does that to heal.
He decides to make a second attempt. He calls in some homies, the characters we mentioned before, Goemon, the stoic samurai. He finds out that his partner / enemy, Fujiko, is actually working in the castle. She's got her own little mission going on. She's kind of like this hot and cold relationship with Lupin. They've been past lovers, but they're both thieves, so they're kind of competitors as well.
He's a natural-born lady killer.
also, Interpol guy goes to the UN to try with like his testimony that like this king is he's like created like financial catastrophes. He's like behind the financial crash in Japan. He's fucking everything up. And everybody at the UN is just like, what, we're just supposed to take your word for it? And we find out that they're all basically bought out, that nobody wants to actually take this Cagliostro Cagliostro guy down.
Yeah, see, it's not so easy.
No, it is tough.
Cagliostro.
And we get what must be the only ever mention in a Miyazaki movie of the CIA, which I thought was kind of like, whoa. Don't usually, the CIA does not usually enter the plot of a Miyazaki movie.
Lupin decides to go back with the mission of exposing the Count, saving the princess. There is Interpol that's, I guess they're guarding the castle, or
but now Interpol guy, him and Lupin have decided that they're gonna be comrades, at least until they expose the Count. After that, they'll go back to being enemies.
They both fall down a pitfall, and that somehow bonds them as they meet at the bottom of the death pit filled with corpses. They make their way back up, but the Count, he's trying to get the marriage ceremony officialized. And just in the nick of time before they're married, Lupin pops in, exposes things by getting the detective to go underground with a camera and show, like on live television, all the counterfeit money-making process.
Because the Count wants the wedding to be televised in order to add legitimacy to the marriage.
Man has escaped with the princess and the Count is going crazy. Hey, here comes Inspector Zenigata.
Don't let him destroy the evidence! All right, men, charge!
Then there's a showdown at the top of the tower, and I like the detail that the Count eventually is killed, crushed by the hands of time, which I thought was kind of fitting for an old monarchy to be destroyed that way. There's a showdown, and there's a giant bell tower kind of thing, and these giant moving hands, and he gets squeezed between two of them.
And these rings are his eyes. I'll trade you the rings for the princess.
They end up using the two rings. They like put it in the nostrils of this stone goat at the top of the tower, and then all the water
eyes.
drains from the lake. Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. See, no one would have known unless you had pointed it out.
All the listeners would have been like, "What?" I didn't get that. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, they put it in the nostril eyes.
On. The lake drains, and there's like this kind of ancient Greek-looking rubble that's been like buried.
It's an ancient Roman city.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Jade watched this movie.
I did. I did.
Some Greek-looking shit down there.
Whatever.
Look at all this Greek shit. I'm seeing columns.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the end? That's
no,
not the end?
Not. Okay, I'm kidding.
That's where Jade turned it off. Is enough.
There is a line as Lupin and Clarice are walking around and discovering this perfectly preserved ancient city. This type of treasure, or this type of wealth should be available for everyone to share in.
Yeah.
Which is a fun, you've destroyed the castle of wealth or what have you, and now it's something that everybody can enjoy instead of just this one monarchy. Although I don't entirely understand the symbolism. The treasure is like the remains of a fallen empire, so it's like tourism. I don't know. It's a park, I guess. It's not like your classic Robin Hood style situation where like they destroy the castle and then all of the forfeit money just gets kind of spread around and nobody can tell the difference. And now everybody's richer or something. Yeah. They've destroyed it, and now it's like you get a cool museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to think there's something more there that we're not catching.
Yeah, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I was curious what you guys thought.
I did watch it as well and was like, more tourism to this place.
Yeah. Maybe it's so it doesn't collapse, since they had the tiniest country in the world had saturated the market with fake money. Like, maybe that's part of it.
It could be just very cynical, the way that so many of these monarchies handed off their power to whatever parliamentary system replaced them, and in turn their castles and everything just get turned into tourist attractions.
Well, in any case, we don't know what happens with that, but Lupin, more importantly, the romance between this
beautiful segue
that doesn't exist.
And the romance between the potentially underage girl and Lupin is coming to a close. Lupin saves her, and there's a moment where they're in this nice field, and she's cuddling up against him, and she's like, "I'll become a thief too. Take me with you." And he's like, I don't know. And they're about to kiss, but then he kisses her.
And they were not about to kiss.
He kisses her on the forehead. That's the main part. But there is a great line that I really liked where she wants to be with him, but Lupin has other things to do, and he understands that she's potentially underage.
Yeah, I love that you keep throwing the potentially.
Yeah, well.
And not just saying she's young.
We never know.
She's 19. We do know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's cool then. He should have been with her, whatever. The detective...
Okay. All right, finish your story.
is always chasing Lupin. So even though they work together, just as Lupin leaves, the detective comes up and he's like, "Oh, shucks, I just missed him." And he's talking to the girl. She says to him, "No, he didn't steal anything. He fought for me." And then the detective says,
"The thief managed to steal again."
No, he didn't take anything, I swear. He saved my life, putting his own at risk.
I'm right. That devil stole something precious and priceless.
Huh?
Your heart, my lady.
I hated that. I hated it.
I also at first was like, so fucking stupid. I knew you were gonna say that. but then you walked away and she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, and part of me was like, you know what, this is nice, this is cute, whatever.
I read on the Wikipedia that Clarice is considered one of the first examples of something called moe. Do you guys know what this is?
Yeah, there's like styles of, or like archetypes of women. Yeah. Tsundere was like the cold, uncaring, but like hot girl. And moe, I thought, was more like the ditzy, like innocent, maybe a little bit spacey girl.
Yeah.
That's funny that she's one of the first examples. Wow.
Yeah. If Miyazaki started moe.
Yeah, isn't that a bit ironic considering his history with female protagonists? Yeah. I also have some rather bad news to report. At the risk of ending up on a list, I did Google age of consent laws in Japan.
Oh, shit.
And the age of consent is 16 years old, raised from 13 in June of 2023 as part of a major reforms to sex crime laws.
2023? I thought you were going to say like 1960 or something.
Oh, like 2 years ago, it was 13. That's fucking crazy.
But I think it's important to highlight because there are so many anime that are about teenage girls with adult men.
So if it came out before 2023, it's actually fine.
Well, I'm not saying it's fine per se, but if it's like part of their culture, it makes more sense why it's so
The law's the law. Well, I wonder now if they can make anime as easily that has to do with underage girls.
Imagine all the films they had to scrap when that law came out. Fuck, we got to do rewrites on all of this.
I think they just changed what they said the age was.
Yeah, she's 500 years old. Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because like Miyazaki doesn't do that Japanese anime trope of like the underage girl thing, but it does show up like in Porco Rosso as well. In Castle of the Sky as well. Like there's like a lot of like grown men who are like obsessed with the princess.
In like a David Foster Wallace sense, like pedophilia is just the water. It's just the ambient culture of Japan that even someone like Miyazaki, it's still there, just hovering in the background. This is water.
13. Their age of consent was 13.
That is crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Any other concluding thoughts?
Yeah, let's not end it on age of consent.
Yeah. Have you guys ever pulled any heists off?
Jade and I, we tried to rob my dog. From my grandparents.
Operation Alpha Alfie.
Yeah, that's a really long story though.
Well, we can say it shortly. Your grandparents stole your dog, and then we went there and camped out and waited till they like brought the dog out. Yeah. Ended up backfiring because they didn't bring the dog out to go pee,
which is crazy.
So we shifted gears, and then it was a strike mission.
Yeah, so then I called them up and I was like, hey guys, okay, I'm sorry for everything that's happened. Can I stop by and say goodbye to Alfie? Just pet him one last time. And so they let me in finally. This has been like a couple months at this point. Okay, the background is that I got Alfie in China, and then when I moved to America, I brought him. But then at first I couldn't find an apartment in Seattle where I was moving that would allow dogs. Went to Colorado and was like, hey, who can look after this dog for like a month or so while I look for an apartment? And my grandparents said no initially, and actually my stepdad Charlie was going to do it. Like Jade, we talked about it. Like lots of people were down to take care of the dog, and then they finally were like, no, actually, we think it'd be really nice to take care of the dog. I mean, then I come back a month later, and they're like, oh, I thought you gave us the dog. It's like
so crazy.
No. Why would I do that? Why would I go through all of the trouble of bringing him from China and putting him through quarantine, getting all the vaccinations, all this bullshit just to give him to my grandparents? Like, do you really want to like ruin your relationship with your grandson about this? Like, that's crazy. Right. Have the dog for a month. But anyway, so then after Jade and I did the stakeout and couldn't, they never let Alfie out to go pee in their yard. We by the way, we were set up. We had a blanket that we were going to throw over the fence, and then it was going to. We had it all planned out where Jade would throw the blanket on the fence. I would hop the fence. I would hand the dog back over to Jade on the other side of the fence. He would run to the car, and then I would follow just in case I got caught. So then, since none of that worked,
beat you with a cane.
Like you can't run away from them? I'm a little
Come
confused.
here, Sonny.
My granddad was a football player, but so what ended up happening is I go in and like a week later I go in and I'm petting Alfie and pretending to say goodbye to him, and I just like swooped him up and then sprinted out the front door.
And the ghouls with long claws chased after me.
And then they didn't talk to me for like 10 years.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you still have Alfie?
Yeah, he's right here.
Wow.
Alfie boy.
I definitely think there may have been an easier way, but
Snuck into things like concerts and stuff, but never snuck in and taken something.
I tried to break into a school with one of my girlfriends in high school because I could pick locks. So we tried to break into a middle school. We were drunk.
She got in a lot of trouble in high school.
And the security guard came by and got really pissed and called the cops. And I was like, let's fucking run. And my girlfriend was like, no, I'm scared. I'm like, what? You're just going to wait here until the cops come? We can get away. But, I couldn't just leave her behind. So I just waited with her. And then I had to do community service for like 3 months.
My god.
That was another heist that didn't go well.
We're not made to be Lupin's gang.
No. It's harder than it looks, apparently.
Jade used to pick the locks on all of the newspaper machines because they just have little padlocks on the back, and you would open them up, and he would just reach in and fill his pockets with quarters and then walk away.
I actually forgot about that. Yeah, you get like $15 worth of quarters.
These heavy ass pockets rattling around. One time, Jade and I took a bunch of fishing line, and we thought it'd be really funny to like just string up the whole town in the middle of night with fishing line, just imagining people like walking into it.
Oh my god.
Well, we booby trapped it too, so that like dilapidated wood would fall on your head if you tripped the wire.
Like a Looney Tunes fucking villain.
Right?
We grew up in a really small town, so it was just empty after midnight. There was nobody anywhere. So, yeah, we were like booby trapping the town for some reason. And then these guys at a mechanic shop, I guess they saw us and then they chased after us. Jade and I split up. It was really intense. Yeah, we got chased by these guys and they were saying they were going to call the cops. I like went and hid underneath a truck in somebody's front yard, and I was like just freaked the fuck out. And a cop car even like slowly came around the bend and was shining its lights everywhere looking for us.
I think they were so pissed because our trap worked and they tripped it and got bonked with a bunch of old wood. Anyways, you guys got any other heists? Darian, you had some sneaking out.
Can you imagine me doing anything shady? I've been excluded from things because I'm so suspicious looking, just like not doing anything bad.
Yeah, but Darren, you're a lot like you're more of a Lupin style thief anyway. You're a heart stealer.
Yeah,
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
We're gonna leave it at that.
Did you guys?
I would like to.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, sorry, Darren.
There you go.
Go for it.
I won't forget mine, so you go.
Mine's like an ender.
Well, all right.
Okay. Well, one of you say something.
I'm going.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Well, my only experience with Lupin the Third was, speaking of when Jade and Austin were young, is they made a sweet music video.
Oh, shit.
What?
Okay, yeah.
I forgot about that.
They have to share it with you, Martin. It is so good. I've shared it with like 10 plus people.
It's just Jade and I spazzing out to like the theme song from Lupin.
It's like a remix techno version.
It's like a dubstep remix of the Lupin soundtrack.
It's like a 7-minute music video.
It's so long. Yeah, I know.
It's good.
But I did continue to show that video up until late college.
How did you ever get laid?
I don't know. I think it helped.
I don't think you showed it to girls.
And I will too.
You're like, I know these people.
Check out this super cool dude. Speaking of embarrassing music videos, our mayors are on Mamdani. I don't know if you guys have seen his old music videos back when he wanted to be a rapper.
I know of them. I have not seen any because I don't want to.
They're fun.
Yeah. Because they're very like 2016, like 2010, like era.
Kind of backpack rap.
I love that. That makes people a lot more relatable when they've done
I like
stuff
it too.
Like that.
It actually humanizes him a little bit. Yeah.
That he too had a dream that failed before he realized what he actually wanted to do with his life.
Yeah, the mayor wasn't his first choice.
Yeah. You guys give it a baka?
Wait, Martin was going to say something.
Oh, Martin's story. Martin.
No. I didn't have a story. It was literally the baka question. I was, but it was phrased through like, did you guys ultimately enjoy it? But that is what bakas are. So excuse me.
Yeah. Remember what you're on.
Yeah.
We like to keep things simple.
Yes.
You baka, you don't baka, you know?
Darren?
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a baka. I enjoyed it. I paid more attention than I expected to.
Was anyone hot in the movie? Did you
I actually did have the thought that like I like that none of the characters are designed to be like smoking. Like it's all about the personality and like the scene and stuff. So no.
Okay. Right.
Well, I guess maybe you liked the princess. I don't know. Especially when she was in her younger form.
Well, I don't know why you would say that. That's weird.
I liked the American chick. At least I don't know who did the dub for the American girl, but I thought she was good.
That camel onesie's smoking.
Yeah.
I keep thinking.
Yeah.
Never mind.
What?
Well, now you have to say
what it is because I think I'm thinking the exact same thing, Darian.
I keep thinking he's saying camel onesie and that he's missing a word after camel.
Yeah.
And I keep getting upset like, Jade, of course you're paying attention to that. And then I realize I'm wrong. Is that what you're hearing too, Martin?
That is exactly what I was hearing.
Camouflage onesie.
So glad.
Just to clarify. Austin, what about you?
Yeah. I thought it was a blast. I had a really good time with it. I love the music. Really, I was surprised by how much I love the music. I love all the stings every time. Like there's something surprising or a shift in the power in a scene, you'll get a fun little musical sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation's great. It's fun to see a more simplistic Miyazaki style too. It's not quite as like photorealistic in its backgrounds as some of his later stuff would be. I haven't watched like some of his earlier movies in a long time, so maybe they're all like that. But yeah, I thought it was a good time.
You have to say the words.
Oh, I give it a baka.
Yeah.
Thank you. Martin?
That was unclear.
We almost lost Austin's vote.
I too give it a baka. I really liked it. I felt like for how cartoony and Hanna-Barbera like old and goofy, it is very grounded, and it's something. It's so live action inspired and classic cinema inspired while being so goofy, and it makes me inspired and wish that more animation was exactly like this, where it was smart in its like visual language and its story, but still very charming and goofy and over the top.
Yeah, I think it's fun to see Miyazaki do something different. I mean, it's not really different because it's his first movie, but if it's obviously Miyazaki, but also kind of fun in that it's not his typical, it's not what he would necessarily choose as his subject matter because he's picking up a franchise. And I think he's the perfect person to do this because the character of Lupin could so easily be tainted. It could be a more scandalous movie or show, but Miyazaki manages to bring some dignity and to make him kind of an interesting hero because he's a thief, but he's a hero. Mm-hmm. And Miyazaki has the subtlety to, well, not make him fall in love with a potentially underage girl. Yeah. But he does it with class. So, yeah, baka.
To shout out two more early Miyazaki works, if you guys have not heard of them. Future Boy Conan is a series that he did in 79, so a little bit before this. He directed a few episodes of Lupin the Third Part 2, which is that series that I told you guys about as well. And then a little bit after all this, he directs a series that I only found out like a few years, or last year, Sherlock Hound, which is a Sherlock Holmes type of story with all the anamorphic characters playing the characters we know.
Didn't he work on Kimba as well?
He worked on a bunch of other like productions. These are the ones that he directed that I was naming.
Kimba is the one that famously Disney would just completely rip off to make The Lion King later.
Oh my God, Kimba to Simba?
Kimba. Simba.
No!
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kimba to Simba.
Was your internet that laggy that just
no my brain is just that laggy. It's that kind of day. No, it's not my internet this time. I was like, oh yeah.